Mr. Vice President, whenever you're ready.
Shall we stand for our pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening and welcome to our MSD Pike Township regular school board meeting tonight, September the 11th, 2025. In the absence of our president, who's on work duty, we commence our meeting for this evening. First up is our good of the cause. If there's anyone that would like to speak for the good of the cause, you have 3 minutes. You can come share with us for the good of the cause, if there's anyone. Looks like no one for the good of the cause. We move on to Spotlight on Pike, Sarah Dorsey.
Good evening. It's a blessing to see you all again. Earlier this week, the Indianapolis Colts teamed up with American Family Insurance to host the 7th annual Colts School Uniform Blitz. This year, they hosted their event at College Park Elementary School, where students were welcomed by cheerleaders, their favorite Colts players, and blue. All of our students at College Park received back-to-school shopping experience that included uniforms, cool swag, and other incredible apparel. Based on the photos I saw, the bucket hats were a big hit this year, and I think that was new. As you'll recall, last year they went to Eastbrook Elementary School for this event. So they have just been phenomenal partners and supporters, and we are so grateful for their generosity. Next week, in addition to it being homecoming, our Pike High School Orchestra will perform side by side with the Philharmonic Orchestra on Tuesday at 7 p.m. And then on Thursday, our Pike High School choirs will present Choirs and Construction, which I'm told will also feature some of our amazing middle school students. That will also be at 7 p.m. Tickets for both concerts, which will take place in our Performing Arts Center, are $5 and can be purchased online. Our pre-game homecoming carnival will take place on Friday from 4 to 6:30 p.m. in front of the stadium. The game will begin at 7 p.m. Tickets will go on sale next week. But if you're not able to be there to cheer our team on in person, there will also be an opportunity to watch the game via live stream courtesy of our Pike High School RDTV program with support from Mr. Bordenkecker in our IT department. On Saturday, September 20th, our Pike Youth Football League will host a donation of toiletry items for our Pike Red Zone Food Pantry from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Pike Stadium. That's just one of several opportunities that I'm going to have the chance to tell you about where our community is coming together to support the Red Zone Food Pantry. So we're extremely excited about that. Last but never least, we'd like to thank the PHS soccer parents for their generous donation of various food items, bottled water, Gatorade, and a team tent worth an estimated value of $185.
Thank you. Reports to the board, Butler Partnership, Mr. Troy Emmons.
Good evening, Mr. Vice President, members of the board, and Dr. Young. We're excited tonight to talk about our long-standing partnership with Butler University. I have Mr. Eric Hagee here. He serves 2 roles. He is the instructional coach at Pike High School, and he is the master practitioner / professor at Butler University. He's going to give us an overall overview, of the Pike-Butler partnership. Mr. Hagee?
Thank you, Mr. Inman, and thank you, the board, for inviting me here to talk a little bit about the partnership program, my role in the program, and a little bit about the progress that the program's been making and looking ahead in the future. So what I'd like to do is start with kind of defining what the partnership is about, and I think this might be a revisitation for some, but maybe also a chance to kind of hear it for the first time, what this partnership really does. It has been, in its current form, basically implemented since 2012. And so I am not the first to be in the role of kind of supporting it. The Rick Mitchell was the previous master practitioner, is what the role is called, and that is my role now as master practitioner. And my position is, as Mr. Inman mentioned, two parts, where I'm bridging both the concerns here at Pike and supporting teachers, and also helping prepare new teachers at Butler in the College of Education. So a little bit about this model. It's a model based on collaboration between both Pike and Butler, and at the center of it is trying to make sure that both of the needs of both those institutions are being met through professional development. So as an instructional coach, and that's really kind of what a master practitioner is, a person who's been defined as having experience in the field as a teacher, and then who uses that in order to support other teachers with professional development. Half of my time is basically spent with Pike teachers, especially at the high school, new teachers, but other teachers too, if the need arises. And I work with them through every week. And then I also then spend a portion of my time, the other half, at the College of Education and at Butler University, where I work with a professor, it's Professor Felicia Williams, and we co-teach and we work with cohorts of student teachers who are being trained in their final year and who come over here to Pike to work on their practicum, basically, to become new teachers. I would just like to highlight on this slide one of the major focuses that I think in the development of this program is that it really tries to harness what can be used with having an experienced teacher who's been in the field for some years work with other teacher peers in order to come up with concepts of really effective professional development. And both obviously with pre-service teachers who are just coming into the field, but in-service teachers too. And so a little bit about maybe what a master practitioner should have, what kind of skill sets they should have. I think it's important to highlight those things. In my role as a master practitioner, instructional coach, and anyone else who fulfills this position, I think it's important that that person would have several years of experience in teaching, secondary for my role. Also that they have a working knowledge of different instructional methods and strategies that can be used in the classroom with different levels of learners. Also in this basically a situation where we have a familiarity with both Butler University policies and Pike policies, because since this position kind of bridges both of those, it's important, I've been learning in my 4 years now of doing this, to find ways for those two institutions to find synergy with each other, and for the basically talents that come from both of those sides to be able to be harnessed and used to help propel teachers here at Pike into their career and to support them, and also maybe for basically a training grounds for those new teachers coming from Butler. I think those are really important things. And I would say also just in terms of having good interpersonal skills and skills around being able to, work with different sets of stakeholders, listen to them, hear their needs, and make sure that, again, that can be put together to help support everybody that's in this basically program. So advantages, I just want to talk a little bit about both the advantages and kind of what this looks like on the Pike side in what I do each day. Really, it gives me an opportunity to work with our newest teachers who come in each year, our new cohort. And I do that from the very, very beginning, even before the first day of class, by helping out with a new teacher orientation. So just this year, we have a new cohort of 14 new teachers. We met with them. We, got to know them. And we, from day one, we started to support them and, basically give them the kind of training and support that they would need. That is combined with also teacher meetings that we have monthly, and making sure that they are matched up with mentors, other teachers, experienced teachers in the building, which the district helps quite a bit with that. And then also that they're being given tailored professional development, both through those new teacher meetings and in other areas. So when they have needs, which surely they're going to have needs, we can make sure that the kinds of training and support we're giving them is really tailored to the specific issues that they're experiencing in the room. And that's not only through professional development, but me having daily check-ins, or weekly check-ins with them, and basically setting up coaching cycles with them as well. In that capacity, we also have the student teachers that come from Butler. I also manage that. They come in. We just had our first set come for the first time this week, and they got to meet their basically cooperating mentors. So they work with a mentor here at Pike. It's a Pike teacher, experienced Pike teacher. I help with that placement, and then they'll start their training here in the fall, where they'll observe that mentor, and then in the spring, they'll come back to that mentor and actually teach in their classroom. And so I help coordinate that as well. And so that takes up quite a bit of my time, and we even do the classes now that these Butler student teachers get here at Pike. So it's really great because they can learn and also get their experience right there in the classroom. What this kind of looks like on the Butler side is, as I said, I am working with a professor in the College of Education, helping develop curriculum that gets their student teachers trained and ready to go to come over here and do their student teaching. I'm also in a basically constant contact with the faculty over there, so we can kind of learn about some of the newest things that are happening in education and bring those over to Pike. I think that's really important. I mean, some things never change. Good teaching is good teaching, but there's also new ways to think about the field, and we really try to make sure that we're bringing that back here, exposing our teachers here at Pike to those ideas, and also making sure that carries through in the student teacher training as well. So I specifically teach 2 courses along with the professor at Butler. One is a preparatory course called ED 433 that's given in the fall. We even bring Pike teachers into the course to talk to the newly developed student teachers, so there's interaction between them. And then also in the spring, when the student teachers are doing their actual teaching in the classroom at Pike, I teach another course. It's like a lab. We meet once a week and we talk about the situations that are going on in their classroom. So a lot of back and forth there. There's also some professional development opportunities that we sometimes can develop at Butler itself. Thinking about the value of the program, I think one of the things that I'd like to highlight for the value for Pike is certainly we get a chance to see new teachers through Butler being trained here, and in a sense get a chance to have first look at those teachers and consider, would you like to come and teach with us at Pike? And those conversations can start early. In fact, sometimes those conversations start before they're even done with their training through a new program that is part of the Pike and Butler partnership called residency, teacher residency. And this is fairly new. It's where if there's a need at Pike in a classroom, and it's in one of the areas that the student teachers are getting trained in, and that the Pike mentor teacher that's working with that student teacher feels that they're ready for it, and the student teacher feels they're ready, they may be able to come into a room that has a need, that has an opening. And with support, they can teach for that full year, pretty much as an independent teacher, as an in-service teacher, still getting support from their mentor. It's a really good situation, and it's one of those perks, I would say. We have a very structured way of going about and planning for that, and there is an interview process, of course, for that. So I would say that's an extra value that we have for Pike. Also, of course, this professional development for our teachers who are housed here at the high school is really important, and I think it has a lot to do with our retention. I think there's many things. We look at the retention rates for the cohorts in the recent new teacher cohorts that have come into Pike. I've got it listed up there for 22, 23, 23, 24, and so on. The retention rates are higher at Pike than they are at the national average. And I think there's many things. I think good leadership, a good environment, good students who are working hard. I mean, those obviously are contributors, but I'd like to think that this program plays a big role in that too. That constant support, consistent support, coaching cycles that build over time. There's no gotchas there, you know? Teachers know they're getting supported, and if there's a problem, they can communicate about it. Yeah. I would say also then, just to add for Butler itself, they have often communicated how much they value having an environment like Pike to come and teach, where they can be in a larger urban setting. They can have students from all backgrounds and have their student teachers work with those students and learn their craft. I mean, I think, again, diversity is one of our powers, and it is, you know, from all different angles, you know, students who come from all kinds of experiences. And our student teachers at Butler really are yearning for that and appreciate that. And it's a great environment to be tempered in and to learn the craft. I would say also just other PD support that we're offering, especially the teachers at Pike. And again, I emphasize I work with new teachers, but I will work with all teachers, of course, in my capacity, is that during our meetings and teacher trainings, we bring in people from all different roles at the Pike building to talk about what they do. So our new teachers especially are getting a full view of the building, and they understand the services and the programs that are provided to them. They're not feeling like they're isolated. I develop a weekly communication newsletter that I've sent out. Maybe a few people in the room have gotten that from time to time. And in that, I go over scheduling for the week. I try to coordinate messages, emails, and things like that that have been sent out from leadership in the building, so everybody keeps kind of abreast of what's happening in the building. And then I usually share information and articles about best practices. And I try to make sure that everybody gets that, all teachers get that. I also introduce our new teachers to our veteran teachers through a profile that I usually keep. And we have ongoing professional development that is sometimes tailored specifically to needs that arise throughout the year. So it's an overview, a broad one, and I'd be happy to take any questions that you might have about my role. And
I do have a
yes,
question. First, I have a comment. I love the concept and the idea of keeping a pipeline that we have access to keep our students well educated. But my question, in the terms of, are exceptional learning teachers also included in this group?
they are. They are. In fact, this year we have two so both on the Pike side, and I'm working with anyone that comes into the exceptional learning department to be, especially a new teacher. I will work with them as I would work with the other teachers that come in for the other departments. And then with Butler, as we have student teachers that are being trained in the area of exceptional learners, I work with them. And in fact, I have two that are coming in with the new Butler student teacher cohort this year. Plus, there is one who is doing their student teaching. So to make a distinction, and I should make sure it's clear, the fall is where the student teachers come in and they kind of observe their mentor teacher. We call that the field experience. And then in the spring, they do that student teaching. And I actually have one teacher student teaching right now as well in exceptional learners. Yeah.
I have a question as
Yes.
well.
Mhm.
So on your lasting value of partnership program value for Pike, you have a graph.
Sorry, I'm the wrong way here.
It's, my question is, like, I see what the
Yeah.
number is, and I see that it's retention, but I don't, like, it's
I'll explain
challenging
it.
to understand.
Yeah,
Is
sorry.
this all of them, some of them?
Right. So,
Okay.
so if you were to, you know, if you had the PowerPoint and you hovered over it, what it would give you, and I'll just kind of give an example of the 22-23 because it probably illustrates the best.
Okay.
So all of that is the cohort that came in 22 and 23.
Okay.
And if you were to look at that bar to the far left, I think it would be, to memory serves me right, if you hovered over, it'd be 35. And that was the raw number of new teachers that came in. And when I say new teachers, those are anybody newly hired into the building. Could be people new to the field, Could be people who are just new to the Pike building but have taught for a few years, but they're all considered new teachers. And then you can see that that cohort after 22-23 has moved through the other years. There has been a bit of attrition, but the attrition rate is quite low. So if you hover over that, I don't think year in, year out that ever, like if we look at the retention, it's between 90 and 91% of that whole cohort. And then the other cohort goes on with 23, 24, and so forth. I hope that helps
It does,
clarify.
thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Yes, the retention piece.
Yes.
25 through 26, could you explain that?
Yeah, again, it's a little, I looked at that graph and I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to explain this, and it's a good question. That is just 25. So you have one bar, and that begins with that cohort who's came in now. So what that represents is the newest cohort, 25.
Okay.
And so, and if you look at that group, that cohort, when you look at the comparisons of them, it's a smaller cohort. It's just a smaller group of people. We didn't have to hire as many new teachers, is what it would mean. So I think if we're looking at the exact number, it's 14. And so we'll see how that, carries on through as that cohort moves through each year. And I would add bars, for 26, 27, and 27, 28, and so forth for that cohort.
And 22 seemed to be an outstanding year for the cohort.
22, I mean, it was a year where we hired a lot of new teachers. And and that was my first year coming in. And I think it is outstanding in the way that if you look at that, we managed to keep a lot of them.
Okay.
We've really, I mean, there's, if you look at that very last bar, because that would be coming up to present, 22, 23, you've got the years starting from when they were hired until they're now presently still in the building. We've retained, I think, up to, I think it's 88% over 4 years. So that's a good retention rate.
As a master practitioner,
Yeah.
what do you add to the cohort as it relates to retention? Because in education, retention is very difficult
Yeah.
to maintain. So what do you do and what do you say
Yeah.
to get people possibly to stay at Pike? If you can do that. If it's since we're in a meeting tonight, if it's legal to do that.
No, it's a good question. I think it's number one, and we get back to the kind of qualities and skill set for a master practitioner is, first of all, to have enough years in the field to know and to sense what people will be going through when they're new teachers, both new to the profession and then new to a building, which are, different experiences for sure. We have someone who's new to the profession and to the building, and that's kind of a shock to the system, right? They're trying to learn a lot of things, and so being able to sense that, know it ahead of time, and be able to lay the groundwork and the context by going in, number one, being in contact with them pretty consistently and constantly. I'm not saying it has to be every single day, but many days out of the week in those beginning, at the beginning of the semester, especially making sure that they are feeling comfortable, listening to them, I think is a really important thing, and taking that feedback from them first, but also knowing without having to make them say it. Like, hey, everything's working out okay. Why don't you talk to me about how you feel about your classes, and how it's been going. Classroom management, making sure they're feeling comfortable with the system that they have, and also going in and watching them and making them comfortable. So part of those conversations that I'm having early is making them comfortable with me being there. Just being able to come into the room, sit down, and knowing when there's an issue, and there can be issues, that they can talk to me about it. And we can have a conversation and mind share and figure out solutions. And it takes time to build rapport with people to do that. But I think that is, something that
So do you have a survey, like say before they start, what's your expectations, and do you have an exiting one for them?
I haven't.
As to what they experience, and if those expectations were fulfilled? Because I see like you said, the retention, as we've gone on, has shrinked. I mean, as far as the bars, which tells me we're keeping a lot of our teachers so that we don't have spots for these Butler students. That's what it's telling me. Is that
Yes,
is that a good?
you're right. You're
okay.
interpreting that correctly. That as the bar goes down for our new group that's coming in, it's meaning that we have to hire less new teachers. I had it noted here on my card. Make sure everybody knows it's a good thing that that bar is getting smaller as we go in. So, yes, you're right.
Well,
You're
thank
right,
you
Mrs.
so much,
Wilson.
because
Thank you
that-
for mentioning that.
And we have 14 in this cohort now.
In this new cohort, we have 14. Yeah, we've had to hire. Yeah,
That's good.
right.
So I have a question. So all of this is all at the high school level,
This
right?
is at the high school.
Okay. Do we have a similar program like this for our middle and elementary schools where we provide, I believe we do have programs where we're partnering with schools, obviously to get student teachers in, but particularly the PD portion that you're, I mean, providing professional development for our teachers is awesome. Everybody wants to grow in their profession. Do we have anything like this for the other schools?
We do have, do you want to speak to, not at all about some of the,
University and some of our elementary schools that do have classes in our elementary schools.
Yeah, I know that.
Student teachers and everything, it's very similar thing. So,
Right.
matter of fact, three of them.
I guess I was meeting with the master practitioner that would also be able to provide PD support.
No. Practitioners
Okay.
housing for elementary, but the university is providing professors that come into our buildings and have classroom space in there.
Okay.
So, 1, 2, yeah, for elementary schools. In fact, I just saw something today, so every day they do some teaching, some do the practicum, and they provide professors there to do teaching, real life teaching with them there, and then follow them throughout the classroom, observe and give them in the moment tips and strategies, instructional methodology, classroom management, those types of things.
and the master practitioner is really nice when you have the one building.
Right.
Where the person's spending half their time there at the school.
Yeah.
And then also
Yeah.
working at Bella with the 9 elementary schools. You may have a professor, but they're working with student teachers at the multiple buildings.
Okay, not really so much with our teachers at that point then. The professors aren't working with our teachers.
Not
providing
necessarily.
PD. Okay, that's what I
Yes,
was
yeah,
getting
not
at.
from the
Okay.
university, yeah.
Okay, awesome. I do love this program. Then let's take away. I just wanted to find out
No,
how
no.
widespread we have this kind of stuff. 'Cause, yeah,
Yeah. This particular partnership is basically that bridge. The unique part is the bridge that's
Yeah.
built between Butler
And that's what
Pike.
stood out to
Yeah.
me because I knew we had student teachers. I knew we had, but this was the first I'd heard about the master practitioners. So, yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
We're on to first reading of the board policies, Dr. Maggie Bishop.
Good evening, Mr. Vice President, members of the
evening.
board, and Dr. Young. This evening, I have the final 8 policies for you to review in the next 2 weeks. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I will be more than glad to provide you with additional guidance, as there are, I believe, 5 revisions, 1 technical correction, and 2 replacement policies.
Question, if I may, Vice President?
Yes.
Dr. Bishop, the school and government agencies, is it becoming difficult to interpret now, or what is it, how's that looking in your lens?
So this particular policy is a replacement, and you all have actually, they split it into 2.
Right.
The previous policy had many levels in it. It had DCS guidance, it had law enforcement guidance outside of our Pike Police.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of information found within one policy. What Neola has now done is split both of those into 2 separate policies, one in which speaks directly to the Department of Children's Services and is very clear on what that is. And then this one just deals directly with law enforcement and what that would look like. The benefit that we have here is that we have our own Pike Police, and so we're not reliant on another law enforcement agency. We are working strictly with our Pike Police most of the time. So there is some degree of I don't want to say less stress, but less stress because we do have, in fact, our own law enforcement agency here for Pike.
Thank you, Dr. Bishop.
Dr. Bishop, if you want to stay, we'll be on to you in just a minute.
Yes, sir.
Action items, we are now attaining a motion to accept our minutes from August 28th.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and second that we accept our minutes from August 28th, regular board meeting. Let's go on to vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed. Dr. Bishop, approval of the education policies.
Mr. Vice President, members of the board, and Dr. Young, I seek your approval of action item B, approval of the Board of Education policies as presented.
So move.
Second.
Moved in second that we accept our policies as presented. Are there any questions? No questions, we're on the vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you, Dr. Bishop.
Thank you.
We are on the HR Human Resource Report, Dr. Hunter.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President, members of the board. Dr. Young, I ask that you approve the HR report as presented.
I move that we approve the human resources report as presented.
Second.
Been moved in second that we approve our HR report as presented. And due to the nature of our HR report, we will not entertain discussion. We're on to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Dr. Hunter.
Thank you, sir.
We are on to action item D, approval to accept our grant. Mrs. Hardiman.
Good evening, Board Vice President.
Good evening.
Members of the board, Dr. Young. I am requesting your approval to accept the Kiwanis grant in the amount of $500 on behalf of College Park Elementary School for their Lit Palooza, in which students will be receiving books.
So move.
Second.
Been moved in second that we accept action item D as presented by Mrs. Hardiman. Are there any questions? No questions, we're on to vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you, Mrs. Hardiman. Request of approval of Dick's Sporting Goods, action item E. Mr. Jacob.
Good evening, Mr. Vice President,
Good evening.
members of the board, and Dr. Young. I hereby seek your approval to apply for the Dick's Sporting Goods grant.
I have a question on that. On the-
Okay.
Can't ask the question
Okay,
until we
not
get
yet.
it.
I move that we accept the request for approval to apply for Dick's Sporting Goods grant as
Second.
presented.
Second, sorry.
It's been moved in second that we accept action item E as presented. Now, Ms. Tony, we are on to questions. Question.
Thank you. I stand corrected. On the grant, is that equipment or is that,
Yes, please. It's being able to provide for our youth sports equipments that they need and replacing the ones, that needs
so they're going to be
replaced.
donating funds or equipment? Or
The
both?
funds to buy, to buy those equipments at Dick's.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I have a question. Were we able to get it submitted on time? I know there was a deadline that was.
Yes, they were fine with knowing fully well when
Okay.
our board, meets. So,
Okay, great. That's what I wanted to verify.
I noticed in your proposal that we were nominated for this grant. Is that correct?
Yes, one of the things, thank you for asking that Dick's would do is seek local sports clubs like USAI and all that. But again, by providing these grants, because we as sport parents, we're gonna go back to Dick's. And we're gonna go back and spend those money. So they provide that to be able to support, is a way of giving back to the community.
All right. All questions satisfied. We're on to vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you, Mr. Jacob.
Thank you, sir.
We have action item F, resolution regarding public investment, action item G, contracts, and action item H, donations, Mrs. Gray. We'd like to combine all of those for recommendation of approval.
Good evening, Mr. Vice President,
Good
members of the
evening.
board, and Dr. Young. I present to you items F, G, and H for your approval.
I move we accept items F, G, and H as presented.
Second.
Been moved in second that we accept actions item H, G, and F as presented. Are there any questions on action items F, G, or H?
Not a question, but as always, I do have to point out when we have a contract from CIESC that my wife does work for CIESC, but she does not receive any benefit from this contract, so there is no conflict of interest.
No other questions, then we're on to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose. Thank you, Mrs. Gray. Thank you. Mrs. Gray. And now we are on to board members' items. Dr. Moore.
I have nothing tonight, Mr. Vice President.
Mrs. Wilson.
Nothing other than it was just nice to hear about the partnership with Butler and the fact that we do have a pipeline of teachers that are coming into Pike to bring their experience from Butler into Pike High School, and that ours, well, high school and the elementary and the middle school, and that we're able to take our culture and help curb these teachers into becoming better teachers working with Pike. So I like that.
Mr. Hoofer.
All right, so I was gone for 3 weeks, so I do have a few things. So I do. One of the things that stood out to me as I was reviewing all the communications when I got back from my travels was I love seeing the communications and the encouragement we're giving parents, particularly through Parent Square, with tips on using AI to help their kids. AI is a technology. Like every technology, it can be used for good. It can be used for evil. There's been some scenarios in the world, in the news lately, where it was used in a tragic way, but that doesn't make it itself evil. And so I am glad that we are giving our parents tips on how to use it in a way that can be productive for our kids. Living in the workforce, it is here. It is going to stay. These are tools they're going to need to know how to use. So I'm thrilled to see that. I do look forward to seeing everybody at the Homecoming Carnival. It just in the last day or so kind of got solidified. The board's going to have a booth or a table at the Homecoming Carnival. So looking forward to have the community stop by, and we'll have some questions for you to fill out. We want to hear you, get feedback from you, and hear from the community. So really looking forward to that. Looking forward to seeing a Pike win that night. Something was mentioned tonight about fundraiser. One of the schools, I think, doing a fundraiser for the Pike Food Pantry. I got a chance to work at the food pantry again this past Monday, and I've been doing that since I joined the board in January. And generally, we'll have a few people come on a Monday. We had over 30 families come on Monday. We ran through almost everything we had bagged up. Not everything on the shelves, but it just showed that the need is increasing. It was a drastic increase over what we typically see. So I appreciate all the donations, appreciate donations from the community. There is very much of a need, and so I do appreciate that. I also wanted to point out, I got to go the other night to the Unified Flag football game, I should point out. And I just wanted to publicly thank Mrs. Miller, and unfortunately I don't know her assistant coach's name, but they just did a phenomenal job with the kids. It was so much fun. And for everybody else in the room here, until you have watched the dance-off at the end of one of the flag football games, you haven't really lived. So you need to come out to one of those, because that was just a blast. And then this is very much of a personal item, but I would be remiss if I didn't point it out, because it impacts my family very closely and very intimately. September is Fetal Alcohol Syndrome Awareness Month, and fetal alcohol syndrome describes the effects that children have when the mother consumes alcohol while carrying the child. And it is the only 100% preventable birth defect. And so just this is a month, with being the 9th month, to raise awareness and just plead that if you're expecting, please, for those 9 months, abstain. Give your child every opportunity, because when you have someone you love and you see them have to deal with the effects of that on a daily basis, trust me, it is heart-wrenching. And so just wanted to bring awareness to that with this pulpit. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hoofer. Mrs. Barnes.
I look forward to attending the Indiana School Board Association, Indiana Association of Public School Superintendents conference coming up on Monday and Tuesday, along with a couple of my fellow board members. I will be serving as a delegate for our board as well, as we navigate how we respond to the new legislation that was passed in the spring, and what we hope to lobby for the next spring, for the next session. So I appreciate the opportunity to do that. And also just want to say that for anyone who is triggered by or suffering from the fact that today is September 11th, and the memories and the feelings that come along with that. My heart goes out to you, and I hope you make some space for some healing and quiet reflection, and reach out if you need to get help with those feelings if you're struggling with that. Our national crisis hotline number is 988. That's all it takes, just to get on the phone with someone, to get a little help getting through today.
Miss Kelly?
I do not have a lot this evening. I too will be attending the conference on Monday and Tuesday of next week. Looking forward to that, and how as a board we can grow and learn and become more effective at the job we've been tasked to do. I'm also, I think as a board we've just been very reflective here lately, and looking at how we can best serve our students, our staff, and the families of Pike, and wanting to do that in the best way possible. So just know that this board is thinking and working and not just sitting. And along the lines with what Miss Barnes was talking about with 9/11, it's a very mixed emotion day, but this is also personal for my family. Today is my mother's birthday, so we have always, yes, we remember, but then we remember that there is life that comes after all of that. And my mother's celebrating a big birthday, so she's celebrating 80 years. So very blessed to still have my mom, and she's celebrating 80. And then also yesterday, Dr. Moore celebrated a birthday, and I'm not saying how old, just we'd like to wish you happy birthday, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Young?
Well, happy birthday, Dr. Moore.
Thank you, Dr. Young.
Absolutely. First of all, I want to say thank you to Mr. Hagee for taking time out and sharing about the Butler partnership with Pike, and thank you to Butler University. I also will attend as much as I can the conference next week, Monday and Tuesday. This past weekend, I had the great fortune to be one of the members of the planning committee for the Administrators of Color, planning for the future conference. And that conference was really designed for two groups. One, individuals that are aspiring to be superintendents or district leaders, and then for individuals that are passionate about helping those people reach those goals. It was very well attended. The feedback was very positive, so was very appreciative to how that turned out. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Young. I did get a chance yesterday to tout my horn and toot my horn for Pike. I serve on another advisory board, and we serve with one of the state board approvals of Indiana on education, and he stated that in his other world, which he made it quite vivid to us and plain, that he is pro-choice for charter schools, and again, that is not going away. Follow the dollars, and this is certainly what he stated, and I couldn't help but talk about Pike, and so that moved me to even know that we serve on the same board with one of the state board of approval of education, and then he's pro charter schools. So that really bothered me. I thought that was a conflict of interest, but when he said it, I got a chance to talk about Pike. And in closing, what a travesty with Mr. Kirk, and so we were praying for his family, a widow at 30-something years old, that God would give grace to that widow and those two children. And I might add that all of us have our views on life and our world view on life, but it ought not be to the point that we get so mad and upset with someone because they don't believe like I believe, see like I see, or serve like I serve. And so my prayer vigilantly, continuously, is that our rhetoric would tone down and that we will learn to love and get along with each other. All right? That said, we like to attain a motion to adjourn.
So move, Brother Vice President.
Second.
Meeting adjourned.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, sir.